This video is sponsored by PoketownStore.com, the place for all your Pokemon TCG online needs. The new Sword and Shield online booster packs are also available, so definitely check them out, PoketownStore.com. Also, if you use the coupon code ZapDosTCG, you get 5% off your next order. How amazing is that? Check it out! What's up YouTube, it's ZapDosTCG here and welcome back to another TCG deck profile video on my channel. Today on the menu we have Sableye V. That's right, Sableye V in combination with Galarian Obstagoon will definitely be a nice treat for you today. This is a deck I created from scratch, so I created it by myself, but this is an archetype that I do think will perform well. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to demolish the like button at any time during the video. That always helps to support the channel. And also subscribe to see more deck profile videos like this. So to start things off, we're gonna talk about Sableye V. This is a card that actually is very interesting. Not only has it the looking for veins attack to put a trainer card back from the discard pile into your hand. This is a nice way to recover cards like Pokédolls, Lily's Pokédolls for certain situations that you just have to stall a little bit. We also have Mad Nail, which is the main attack of this card. This attack dishes out 10 damage plus 60 more for each damage counter on the opponent's active Pokemon. Now we're gonna have a lot of sniping capabilities in our deck, and that's gonna help out a lot because as a little example, if the opponent has like 4 damage counters on them, we actually smack to 50 damage, and that means they already have 4 damage counters on them, which means to 9. This is a card that can one-hit KO almost anything in the game if you can get enough damage counters on the opponent's active Pokemon. Also, I do love the fact that we have the looking for veins attack that can put trainer cards back. That can mean it does state trainer cards, no item, no you can just get items back, stadium cards, supporters, anything you want, you can get back into your hand. So sometimes if the opponent resets stamps and also uses a crushing hammer, you might want to use looking for veins if you survive an attack, that is. So Sableye V, it's a 2-price Pokemon, as mentioning before. These are kind of like the new GX Pokemon, Pokemon V, with a new mechanic out there. Okay, next up is going to be Galarian Obstagoon. Okay, and the times Zigzagoon was not seeing a lot of play, but this time around with, of course, the Obstagoon. This is stage 2. We're actually gonna see a lot of play with this card because when we play from the hand to evolve one of our Pokemon, we can put 3 damage counters on the opponent's Pokemon wherever you want. So put 3 damage counters on one of the opponent's Pokemon. That could be the bench, the active one. It doesn't matter. You can select one and put 3 damage counters on there. In combination with Shrine of Punishment or with Galarian Zigzagoon, we're actually gonna get 4 damage counters on the opponent's Pokemon very easily, and then for Sableye V to smack damage out of nowhere. So as mentioning before, Zigzagoon is also having the sniping capability. So with, of course, its ability, this one, if you smack a Zigzagoon down, you can put 1 damage counter on the opponent's Pokemon. So wherever you want, put that 1 damage counter, and in combination you get 4 damage counters. That's enough to get the one-hit KOs we desire with Sableye V, but also with another attacker in this list. So you're definitely gonna see a lot of one-off cards in this list, but this is a list that actually can get away with doing that because of a Rosa engine. Not only that, we have some Lily's Pokédolls to stall a little bit, and these one-offs that I'm going to showcase later down in the video are actually helpful in a lot of situations. So also, you should not underestimate the blocking attack of Galarian Obstagoon. What is that? During the opponent's next turn, prevent all damage done to this Pokemon by attacks from basic Pokemon. And I don't know if you've noticed, but all Tag Team GXs are basic Pokemon. All popular V Pokemon, for instance Zacian V, are basic Pokemon. So that means if you can get a single Galarian Obstagoon out and they don't run evolution Pokemon, they're automatically screwed. So I do think you should not sleep on this attack. Not only is sniping good, the attack is also good. So Galarian Obstagoon, we're going to be running 4 Zigzagoon and 3 Galarian Obstagoon because we are going to rely on Rare Candy. Rare Candy is going to be the main way to get, of course, these Pokemon out. So that's going to be that. Next up, I do opted to go for a Jirachi engine. You could also go for something like Zipstrika or Chinchino to have some consistency by your side because, of course, we know that the Mewtwo decks do love to run Night Watch attacks and using Marnie, but we are going to have a little bit of preparation here. We're going to smack down 1 Jirachi on our bench, so if they knock us out and use the attack, it doesn't matter either way. We're going to rely on Jirachi to find ourselves a supporter, because we're going to be running a lot of supporters in this list. So 3 Jirachis for that. Then let's go to the one-offs. This is actually the most interesting part here. Let's see here. We have Yveltal GX. This is a must in this list. I cannot stress enough how good Yveltal GX has become. It is a card from Forbidden Light that actually has been forgotten. Nobody played it. And then out of nowhere, we have the sniping capability. Doom Count GX here for a single energy states if your opponent's active Pokemon has exactly 4 damage counters on it, it is now automatically knocked out. It doesn't matter if it is 340 HP Snorlax, it doesn't even matter if it has 4 damage counters on it, it is knocked out with a single attachment. In combination with Galarian Zigzagoon and Galarian Obstagoon, we're actually gonna get this off very easily. The combination is actually 4 damage counters, so during a turn you can evolve one of your Zigzagoon thanks to Rare Candy, you can smack down another Galarian Zigzagoon and out of nowhere the opponent has 4 damage counters, and then this is where the cards shine. So Doom Count GX, one of the stars of the deck. Moving forward, a lot of one-offs as mentioned, where I'm going to be running a Pokemon Communication engine because we do run Quick Ball in combination with Communication to get the best out of our deck. So you could also run Evolution Incense if you're a fan of that, but since most of these Pokemon are basic Pokemon, I do prefer the Quick Ball with Pokemon Communication engine. Which one-offs do we have? We have Hoopa. Hoopa has seen a lot of playability. Of course, it is an ideal counter to Giratina, the one from the decks in the Malamar list, but also against Mewtwo. Mewtwo nowadays will pair up with Malamar, and if you combine that with a lot of abilities on their bench, think about it, the Dene, Perfection Mewtwo, Psychic Recharge Malamar, there's a lot of abilities in play, and this is a nice 1 energy attacker with Evil Abomination. We can smack 10 damage plus 20 more for each of the opponent's abilities. Pair that with some sniping capabilities and you get some crazy numbers with this 1 copy of the Hoopa. Okay, what else do we have? We have Nihilego. We're going to be running the Aurora Energy and even some Rainbow Energies to make sure we have the energy requirements. That means that a lot of our Pokemon can attack with some unique attacks. In this case, if we have, if the opponent has exactly 2 prize cards remaining, we can copy any attack of the opposing Pokemon's attacks and use it as this attack for a single attachment. Combine that, of course, with the fact that Mew is weak to Psychic, this Nihilego can come out of nowhere and do a fantastic job. Also, you should know is that the new Metal-type Pokemon like Zacian now have a resistance that is Grass. No longer Psychic, that means we can copy the Brave Blade attack from a Zacian V and smack it in its face if the opponent has exactly 2 prize cards remaining. So 1 prizers are fantastic. Pair it with Sniping, it goes even crazier. Next up, we're going to be running Baby Buzzwole. This is just for Pikarom. Pikarom seems to be very popular in the new Sword and Shield metagame, and this Baby Buzzwole will help out a ton with Sledgehammer. If they don't see it coming, bam, we can one-hit KO a Pikarom out of nowhere. Maybe they have the big amulet, or it's the Giant Charm if it's translated like that. Who knows, but it's fantastic. Next up, we have one last Ultra Beast. That's going to be Blacephalon. This is the one that is going to use the Firework Bombs. We're also going to run a Counter Gain in this list. It helps out with Galarian Obstagoon. It helps out with sometimes attacking with a Hoopa. But more importantly, you can find it with Rosa and get Firework Bombs off. With Aurora Energy or Rainbow Energy and a Counter Gain, this card can actually smack 12 damage counters on the opponent's field if the opponent has exactly 3 prize cards remaining. This is a deck that requires a lot of skill. You need to know when the opponent is at an exact number of prize cards because we have Baby Buzzwole, not useful in any matchup, actually in a lot of matchups except for Pikarom, but just know you have the option to use Baby Buzz, you have the option to use Blacephalon and Nihilego. You can safely set up a Sableye on the bench for certain scenarios, but you don't always want to go full Pokemon V. Sometimes 1 prizers can also do the trick, and that's where this card will shine, smacking 12 damage counters around in combination with Galarian Obstagoon and some Zigzagoons. That's a lot of damage counters, so that's why it's in here. I'm still not sure if I want to remove it from the list because I tested the deck a lot, and sometimes it can help to just get those prize cards. And a scenario, you have Baby Blacephalon, 12 damage counters you can spread around, and then afterwards you can just do a Galarian Obstagoon and a Zigzagoon, or maybe a Shrine of Punishment to finish off at the Dene, which is very important. Although some people do run the Mallow and Lano to heal off some damage, maybe getting the 1-hit KO is more important. Then Mew. Mew is in here to protect our bench. Protecting the bench is very crucial because Sableye V has 170 HP. That means things like Tag Bolt GX will get the better of us if it's on the bench. That means we definitely want to have ourselves some protection. Not only that, you can force the opponent, and in the case of a Pikarom player, to go to 4 prize cards. Sometimes Pikarom uses Full Blitz, and the turn afterwards they Tag Bolt for 2 more prize cards, and out of nowhere they are up to 3 prize cards, and that's where Baby Buzz does not work anymore. While with the Mew, you can make sure that this does not happen, and also the Psy Power, putting 3 damage counters around, is very nice. You can also use this attack with a Counter Gain. Ta-da! And then the last 1 prizer of the bunch is going to be, ta-da! It is Mimikyu. This is very fantastic. Not only do you have Nihilego to counter the big bad Mewtwo, you also have Mimikyu. Typically, Mew players with, of course, Dusknoir and Trevenant will be afraid to get out their Dusknoir Trevenant on the bench because we have Darkness Pokemon, and Dusknoir Trevenant is weak to Darkness. So they go heavily and attack with Mew. Well, that's where Mimikyu will come and play, and if you get the Shrine of Punishment off, they automatically cannot use Perfection. That's gonna be fantastic. Also, it pairs very well with Galarian Zigzagoon. Sometimes if they have, in case of a Zera or a GX, you can put a damage counter on it, get Mimikyu out of nowhere, they don't have free retreat anymore. It's gonna be fantastic to try this out. So this is a bunch of one-ups. You might say like, what is this kind of deck? Well, it's very easy to play around with because I don't know if you've noticed, but with communication you can get the correct Pokemon. And not only that, we have Quick Ball at our disposal, so finding these one-ups is going to be very insane. So at certain situations, oh, the opponent is at a certain amount of prize cards, well, Jirachi finding Quick Ball, using Quick Ball, bang. Or finding communication, because we have so many Pokemon, communication will almost be live in every single scenario. Okay, next up, 4 copies of the Professor's Research, aka Professor's Magnolia. This is going to be the way to just dig to our deck. Finding our puzzle pieces. You might say, oh no, I'm throwing away a lot of resources. Well, we also have the Ordinary Rod in our list to recover some puzzle pieces. So this is going to be the quickest way. Not only is this fantastic, like let's say they're getting a hand lock going around with Nice Watch. Well, out of nowhere, Jirachi finds Professor's Research and boom, you're back in the game. It's gonna be the quickest way to dig to your deck, and we don't want to rely on the Danny GX, so that's why we're running this little card. This is a fantastic card. Next up, 3 copies of Marnie. Marnie is also a shuffle supporter, but very disruptive. Putting the opponent to a 4-card hand is pretty much like Judge, but they have to shuffle their hand and put them on the bottom of the deck and draw fresh cards. You get 4 cards, we get 5 cards. So this is a nice way to get cards in the hand, but also to slow the opponent down. If you can get a, sometimes the opponent has a huge hand size and then Marnie can save the day. Okay, moving forward, we're also going to be running 2 copies of Rosa. I might even opt to go for a 3rd copy of Rosa because it's just so good to get the puzzle pieces going. You can find a rare candy, you can find your Obstagoon, you can find even an energy card, so you can get the entire combo going. Finding an energy card, finding an Obstagoon, finding a rare candy, and boof, out of nowhere, this card can use blocking. So that's also nice because it smacks 90 damage, and a basic Pokemon will no longer be able to attack it. They have to gust around it, which is not always the easiest task if they don't run Fion or custom catchers. So that's why I do love the attack of Galarian Obstagoon, but also Rosa can get the combination of finding that 1 copy of the Counter Gate. Sometimes you have it in the hand, sometimes you have to throw it away with the Professor's Research, which is too bad, but that's why I'm still doubting on running the Blacephalon. But if you can get the combo going, it's going to be fantastic. So let me know what you think about this combination. Rosa is definitely a very strong card. And that's also the reasoning why we're not running Linoon. With Rosa, you can find rare candies. Next up, 4 copies of the Quick Ball. Quick Ball, as mentioned, can find any Pokemon except for Galarian Obstagoon. So Yveltal can 1-hit KO if the opponent has 4 damage counters on it. And there's also a way to find, of course, the necessary Pokemon. Let's say you're up against Pikarom, they're at 4 prize cards. Well, now we can use Quick Ball, find our baby boss, get the Aurora energy attached, and bang, out of nowhere, they get smacked in the face. And the good news is you also don't have to worry about the damage output. Let's say, oh, I'm up against Raichu and Alolan and Raichu Tag Team GX. Well, with a couple of snipes, boom, it's out of there. So don't worry about it. Sometimes you fall behind a whole lot with this deck, but out of nowhere, you can come back very easily. Next up, we're going to be running 4 communication very easily to just find our Obstagoon. Sometimes if you have a communication, you can find Obstagoon, or also it saves us. You can safely put a Pokemon back in the deck and then use Professor's Research so you don't throw away a very key card in your specific matchup. Next up, 4 copies of the Rare Candy. Yeah, Rare Candy is also part of the squad. Why 4? Well, we only have 3, but sometimes we throw away Rare Candy thanks to Professor's Research, so we want to have 4 copies, so we definitely can get out a lot of Obstagoons, as many as possible. So there's that. Next up, we're gonna have 2 copies of Switch, very easily to just switch our active with one of our bench Pokemon. Works very well with Jirachi, but also will make sure that we can get out of those nasty situations where they actually leave our Galarian Obstagoon stuck in the active, use Crushing Hammer, and we're just sitting there like, oh no, there's nothing we can do. Not only that, a couple of these Pokemon do have 2 retreat costs. Think about Baby Blacephalon, think about Baby Buzzwole. Those can be stranded in the active position, so that's why we need Switch. Next up, 2 copies of the Escape Board will help out for our little friend Jirachi here. Stellar Ridge is just so broken, so that's why we're still using it. 2 copies, and it will also help us to retreat if we're asleep or paralyzed. Not that it's gonna happen too much, but sometimes they can use like the attack of Raichu to paralyze Sableye V. It could happen from time to time, we'll see. Okay, next up, 2 copies of the Lily's Pokédoll. This is gonna be the way in certain scenarios to be our pivot. Sometimes if they have an Absol out and we don't have switch, we can use Lily's Pokédoll as a pivot to just retreat to whatever we feel like. You don't know whether you're gonna pull that quick ball from the top of your deck to get your ideal counter card for the right scenario. Well, in that scenario, you can just put Lily's Pokédoll to stall a little bit and see where you go from there. Also, if they don't run custom catchers or Fion, they're gonna have a hard time because they will not be able to touch our bench Pokemon. Pokemon V Pokemon are still not catcherable thanks to things like Great Catcher. That only works for GXs. We're also gonna run 1 copy in this list, by the way. But as mentioned, Pokemon Vs are relatively safe if they run custom catchers or just the regular Pokemon catcher, we just saw reprinted in the Sword and Shield. Then we have to be afraid a little bit, but other than that, we should be good. Then a couple of other cards. We have a Counter Gain, as mentioned. It works very well with Hoopa, works very well with Mew, works very well with, of course, Galarian Obstagoon, so why not include it in the list? It's very easily searchable thanks to Rosa. Hopefully you don't discard it with Professor's Research. It happens from time to time, but it can actually use this. You might even opt to just remove 2 Professor's Research for 2 Cynthia if you're afraid of this combination, but in testing you don't always need Baby Blacephalon, it's just in those key matchups. So Counter Gain, 1 copy of that. And then 1 copy of the Ordinary Rod, aka Normal Rod, to shuffle Pokemon back in the deck. You can also use it to shuffle 2 basic energies, but we're mostly gonna use it to shuffle 2 Pokemon back in the deck. For instance, a Galarian Obstagoon which you throw away thanks to Professor's Research, that way you can get it back. Or maybe a one-off deck card, Mimikyu. You don't always want to smack down Mimikyu right away, so it all depends on the situation. Then 2 Stadium cards, Shrine of Punishment. You can also doubt and think about running the Black Market Prism Star, which can help out in price raise wise, but most of the time that will be overlapped with another Stadium from the opponent, so I do think Shrine of Punishment is good. Not only can this help out with the damage spread, let's say you use Shrine of Punishment and the Psi Power of a Mew, that immediately opens the door for Yveltal GX to smack out of nowhere. I know you put damage on yourself, but Yveltal is just a glass cannon either way. You can use it, smacking it down, and get, of course, the 1-hit KO you always desired. So Shrine of Punishment is still a very nice card, and I do recommend playing it in a list like this. You have Shrine of Punishment, you have Galarian Obstagoon, you have Galarian Zigzagoon, you have Psi Power, you even have Blacephalon from time to time with Counter Gain, and now to the crucial part, the energy split. Well, I was doubting here to run only special energies, but I said like, let's play 2 basic energies since we can find them with Rosa. So 2 darkness energies are in this list. And then we're also going to be running 4 copies of the, first of all, 3 copies of Rainbow Energy. Here we have them, Rainbow Energy. You do have to put 1 damage counter on your Pokemon. It might not be very nifty in the mirror matches with all that spread going around, but we have an answer with Baby Blacephalon, which can sometimes get, of course, the upper hand on a lot of these little Zigzagoons from time to time. And then, of course, 4 copies of the Aurora Energy. This is just so busted in a list like this. With all those one-off tech cards, you'll be able to get, of course, the 1-hit KOs you desired with, of course, Sledgehammer. Sometimes you use Nihilego Nightcap for game. You have Hoopa. So this is the list I currently came up with for the Sableye V. Let me know what you think about this particular list in the comment section below. If you enjoyed videos like this, be sure to demolish the like button, subscribe for more videos like it, and I definitely want to know if you're gonna try this list out. I think it's a very nifty deck, but it takes a hard time to master because there's a lot of one-offs and a lot of think process with prize cards involved. Anyhow, have yourself a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll be seeing you guys sooner or later with another deck profile video. I'm out. Peace.